Hi, this is going to be a daily experience video, but not of today's experience. Not every day is like um, so um, full of um, stories that could be told. Many times I have like a very silent kind of presence of God, or I experience something that is very important only for me, and even if I told you, it would mean nothing to you. So, but I think it is quite um, interesting even for you. So I try to tell you, it is very much dreamlike, like many little pictures floating into each other, emerging. But I try to like tell you as understandable as possible. Um, so I had this day which was an ordinary sabbatical day, like eating, resting, typing on my laptop, posting some things. And I was like, at the end of the evening, I was like, oh, I really need to like move a little bit, like maybe go out for a walk, but it was too cold, so maybe I should just dance at home. And I'm not a dancer, so I was just like, okay, let's put on some old school gospel songs, like the super jumpy ones, and just just fool around a little bit so that I would like move my body. Like it wasn't anything spiritual about it. Like some old hill songs and Ron Kennedy songs from the 90s. So it's just yeah, literally no spiritual aspect to it. And as I was dancing and doing silly moves, I was like, after a while I felt like, oh, these moves became like moves of my heart as well. Like this joy I was just expressing with my movements without like actual impulse, all of the sudden became full of impulse and became the expression of the joy I had. When I began dancing, I was like, okay, whatever, let's just move a little bit. And at the end, no, not at the end, quite soon I felt like I have the joy that these movements represent. And so it was a lot of fun. It happens that you just act joyful and you became joyful. So yeah, you always say that from the inside out, but it happened the other way around, like from the outside in. So joy is quite contagious in both ways. So it was a lot of fun, and after that I was planning to work on my laptop a little bit more. I have those times with God when I just shut everything down and I'm just with Him, but I also have those times when I just have some worship music or some instrumental thing in the background. I post some things. When I'm overwhelmed with worship, I stop it and just worship. When I feel like working, I'm working. So I have this in-between kind of thing. And it's quite productive, but it's also not super strict. And that's what I was planning to do after this dancing session. I couldn't stop it. Like it was hard to stop it. And there is this song, "Light of Life," and I remember I really loved it when I was a child. And as soon as it started playing, I felt like this buzz in the air that God is going to show me something. There is some kind of excitement when God is about to show me something. For a long time, I could like relate to God in a vision. Like he had to do something like tangible so that I could be with him. Nowadays, I don't really need that much manifestations to be with him. But sometimes I feel like, am I getting insensitive to those? Like, is it like I don't even care anymore? I don't want to be like ignorant about those. So I was really happy that I felt like this, oh, there's this buzz in the air and God is about to show me something. And it was a very boring landscape where I arrived. The whole scene was as if it was the stage of a theater, and behind the curtains all the things were taking place I'm talking about. There was this sense to it. So this landscape where I arrived was very boring, almost sad, but it wasn't negative in a way that it was creepy or like, you know, like a haunted picture. No, it wasn't. It was more like it was just so empty, and the ground was very dry, and the sky was really monochrome and not much color to it. And a little girl was my company, and she invited me into this picture, and she was like skipping and calling me deeper into this picture, and she was like, there is nothing to see here because you don't see it. As soon as you start to see it, they will appear. And yes, I started to see all these green plants and trees, and one by one this jungle scene started to emerge out of this boring, dry land. And when I thought of something, it appeared. And when it appeared, I thought it would be, oh, it would be so good if it appeared. So it went both ways. If I saw it, it appeared, and if it appeared, I saw it. And the little girl said, seeing is creating. That's why I said, when I created, that I saw it was good. Your seeing is quite powerful. It makes things appear. So see. And she was like a little bit cheeky. She was messing around with me. Like, she was like very confident and very playful, and tried to invite me into that kind of existence. So whole scene of jungle emerged out of this dry land, and it was almost too much. And then all kinds of creatures started to flood it, and they were dancing and celebrating like very wildly. It was kind of like the best shows, like the Super Bowl halftime show or something, like very intense and lot of effects to it, and beautiful women with long legs and the wide movements and passionate expressions. And it was like a bit, I was a bit offended, like, is it still holy? Like, what's just it just flashed through my mind because I was raised as a Christian. So all those things like partying and dance and all that had been told to be of the devil. So seeing all those things like in a vision, it was so funny. But of course, the girl could hear my thoughts, and she said, "You don't know anything of holiness. You think holy is about the how, and no, it's not. It's about who do you belong to. Being holy means being mine, and the whole world is mine, and the whole world is holy. This place is kind of heaven. It's kind of a place you just created with your seeing. But this place is also the Holy of Holies." Then it was like, it's surely not. With this wild dancing and all that, I would never do that kind of dance moves that I have seen creatures doing there. I would consider it like too passionate or too sexual, maybe. Like, it's, people were really giving themselves to this dance, and they were very wild. Not just people, I don't know. It didn't even distinguish what kind of creatures they were. There were a lot of them. And this dance and celebration followed the rhythm of the song I kept listening to, in this Light of Life from Ron Kenoly. Yeah, and the little girl said the whole world is inside of the Holy of Holies. Actually, nothing is outside of it. The place where you're standing is a holy ground. And then, you know, all the wrong things in this world just came to my mind, like, oh, it's surely, it sounds so good, but it cannot be true. And then the girl said, "You don't know anything of truth. It's always a deception to view humanity or the world from a certain point of history. You might have facts, but it's not truth. Truth is seeing. Was it true, the dry land, what you first saw? Or was the lively jungle true? Which one was more true? It is a deception to see the facts about a certain period of history and make a judgment based on them. The truth is seeing from here, and she invited me deeper. truth is seeing from where I see. And she was skipping. And at a point we both joined this celebration because it was irresistible. And I really liked that I could do all those moves I never felt like I'm free to do. Especially not among Christians. Maybe if we are really for prophetic dance, we are always like, be careful how fleshly your moves are and all that, you know. And I'm not into dancing in any way, so it was like, yeah, it was a great thing. Not just to dance, but to dance like, wow. It was innovation. I was just sitting. But every now and then I repeated the song so that I would relive these times of exuberant celebration because it was so much fun. So I realized that all those spectacular shows are inspired of heaven, even if they don't know that they are mimicking heaven. So it was a great thing, like, oh, those dirty worldly things. And it was like, it was more like, oh no, they know how to celebrate. And it was also completely out of the heart of people, and it was flowing out from them. It wasn't pretended. And this is the only thing that made it different from the earthly parties and huge shows that these people were expressing what there was in the inside of them. Yeah, so it was beautiful. And I really loved this little girl and her explanations. Seeing is creating, she said. If you see, it makes it possible to appear. Most of the things you want to see on the earth from my kingdom cannot happen only because of your lack of sight. Because the truth is that my glory is covering the earth, and you might see some other truth looking from a certain point of history, but it's a deception. If you see, if the curtains are rolled, you see what has always been behind them, and this is the truth. The whole world is mine and everything in it. And yes, I realized that yes, she was scared. This little girl was scared. He just took this form to play a game with me. I don't believe that God is a little girl. But it was so much fun to see him like that. Because we think him to be so respectful and majestic that being silly and playful is not part of what we imagine him to be. And he wanted to show that he's like that. and it was so much fun to see. And she even like invited me into it, like it was contagious, so I started to act like a silly girl as well. Yeah, so she said creating is seeing and seeing is creating. I said, I saw it was good after I created. And this is how you are creating with me. Creation has never stopped. It is still going on. And you can create with me. Even as me. By seeing what I see. What you see can appear. So you must see the kingdom so that it could appear. Many times you want the kingdom to appear without you seeing it. One day you will all see, and you will all realize that looking from the frame of time is a deception. Behind all of this, the earth is mine and everything within. And after I realized she was God, she lost this form, and God was like without a form, but we were still communicating. Yeah, it was beautiful and silly and playful, and it was at times too much. Like, are you really saying that this is... I even asked, is this heaven? And he said, if you want it to be, it's a place you've just created. I don't know how these things work. Don't make a teaching out of what I just said, okay? It's just a dreamlike thing with floating images, okay? But it was funny. And yeah, I was at times re-experiencing these things with the dancing and with the appearance of the jungle out of the dry land. And at times I had like so much joy and peace I didn't feel like seeing anymore. And even I was like physically like overwhelmed with this peace, and I don't feel like doing much, and then I just stayed in it for a while until I felt like listening to some other songs and continue writing and all of that. But it had been an amazing evening, and I really loved it. That's it. I hope you understand anything of what I said. I really tried hard to make this story linear, because it wasn't linear at all. It was like floating pictures around. Okay, I think that was it. I wish we would all enjoy seeing. And by seeing, I don't mean like seeing visions, as like seeing reality. Like when we look at the world like, oh, this is the problem, at this point of the history, this is what I see. And God is like, no, it's a deception. You don't see. It's not sight. Let me pull over the curtain and let me show what is reality. And see with me what I see, and create me what I'm creating. God bless you.